What are you doing, Jake?
Put my phone on a motorcycle. I talk to Mama while I ride.
How are you mounting that?
I got the tape.
Tape?
No, it's good tape.
You're using tape.
This is good tape here, yeah.
Are they gonna block the screen?
I see the screen just fine.
What are you doing with the extension cord?
So the battery don't die.
Yeah, but the cord, what do you get to the cord? Wow, there actually is a plug there. That's interesting. The cord's only gonna be so long. You don't even have a cable and a converter. Are you literally just taping it close to it? That's not how this works.
It's good.
100% wrong.
Hey, Mama. I'm riding my motorcycle now.
Well, he's dead. If only I had quad lock. But if he's dead, should I even exist? This video is sponsored by Quad Lock themselves. We want to be upfront about that. So in this video, I'm going to try to showcase to you the Quad Lock stuff, but not necessarily throw a bunch of opinions into it because it is a sponsored video. But I have chosen to work with this brand. This is also a brand I'll say has been reaching out to me for years, and I've been telling them no because I wasn't convinced that the anti-vibration thing was gonna be good enough. It's been some years though. I've heard enough testimonies from people, and I've even done some testing with it myself by now. Feel good about it now. And doing it in Jake style though, I'm gonna show you some things as a certified mechanic. We're gonna do the holy grail setup on my 300L wireless charging with vibration dampening on a buzzy single cylinder, all wired in professionally. I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's scary, I know, electrical wiring. I don't know electrics, Jake. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. I got you, okay? Actually, Quad Lock has you. There's like a stupid, dumb, simple solution they have. But if you are like me, you own a motorcycle or two, you own a phone, it's nice to be able to put those together, isn't it? It's nice to be able to ride around and have your phone accessible. So Quad Lock has done a thing where they've come up with their own phone case that then in turn locks in to their systems and has a ton of different accessories and options. Let me show you how we set this one up. This is their mag case. When you go to pick out a case, it's pretty much for every phone out there. Mag case is a slight upgrade, a little more shock protection from what I understand, just a little more robust. It seems like kind of a no-brainer. We've also decorated it here with this beautiful American flag ring. We also have on the front of it their glass protective lens piece over the front here. From there, when you're picking out a system, one of the next big options you'll have to pick between is how you want to mount it to the bike. You'll see two categories. Mount it to the bike, and there's like 20, 30 different ways you can mount one of these to the bike. There's all kinds of different brackets and bolt combo things and, you know, ways you can attach it. Or you can do what I did, which I said, hey, give me the RAM mount ball setup. I love RAM mount. I've used their X grip in the past. I don't necessarily love that. It pushes all the buttons on the side of your phone, and I've broken a camera, 2 cameras with that setup. Speaking of that vibration problem, they have the vibration dampener mount. This is supposed to be the guy right here that's supposed to fix that problem. This is the reason I was hesitant to put a phone back on my handlebars after breaking 2 cameras. And I've now heard from enough people that said they've had good luck with these that I said, okay, let's give it a shot. If you don't know, the cameras on the back of your phone, they're suspended. From what I understand, it's literally just a couple springs in there. It's actually not that complicated of a system, but whatever. It's a stabilized lens, right? If you put this on your bike and it vibrates, particularly I run a lot of single cylinder bikes, but even a inline 4 or anything, especially if you put an exhaust on, there's a lot of vibrations that come through. It'll vibrate. It might even be enough that you can notice it, but it'll vibrate enough that it can break those camera, the stabilizing part of that camera. And what happens is you'll go to film something. Everything is shaky. It's horrible. And like I said, I've done that to 3 of them. 2 of them were using an X grip and 1 was using a rock form case, which is why I ignored Quad Lock's emails for years. I was like, no. Even when I heard they came out with this, I was like, I want to see it proven. Basically, we're going to pair this to this. And then we took it the next step and we said, hey, I want to be able to charge this thing while I'm riding. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can literally do what I just did going to Austin and back, which was a tank bag. I just threw a battery bank in there and just ran a little cable up. You might have a USB already on your bike. Just run a cable up, no big deal. But if you want wireless charging, they do sell this fancy little guy right here. It's cooled on the back side. I love that. That's nice. Should we? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What have we done? Right into all the spider webs. This is the wireless charging headpiece here. Super cool. And it has a USB here on the back. Again, if you had USBs on your bike, you can do that. But we're going to show you how to do it the ultimate way with this little wiring harness right here. It's going to make life very simple. We'll explain that more. And you know what? We'll explain that. You want to know that? You want to know why this is the coolest thing in the world? Hang on. I'm going to put a phone charger or some wireless charger on my bike. How hard could it be? You're right. It's not that big a deal at all, right? You got a battery over here, zippity doo dah. You got a USB cable, right? It's like a female side of it. Here's the male side of it. What are you waiting for? Please connect it up. Done, right? No, you idiot. This is completely wrong. You've just set your bike on fire. This is 12 volt. This is supposed to be like 5 volt or something. at like 0.2 amps. This is all wrong. There's no safety in here. There's nothing. This is fire. This is death. We don't do that. That one's done. Box that's gonna convert it from 12.5. We can't just connect to that. The negative can. But the positive, no. Inline fuse, okay? We gotta have a fuse in there. And we still don't wanna just connect it up. It's just gonna be on all the time. So we need to come down here and we need to hook it to a switch, right? But we don't want it to be hooked up to any random switch. We'd have to literally remember to turn it on every time, turn it off. No, we're gonna put a relay. Then that, we're gonna go to the bike's headlight or something. Let's say it's the bike's headlight. And this already has power running to it, right? Oh God, no, we can't do it. We just, this already has power running through the harness to it. Don't ask, it's doing its own thing. We're gonna tap off of that power to turn our relay on. So anytime the headlight turns on, it'll turn this switch on. And when that switch turns on, it can continue on this circuit up to here. This only works with the key. Key goes in, turns on this circuit. When the headlight turns on, it turns on our relay. That clicks open. We have our fuse in there. We have our converter. That comes down to our USB. Then we can plug that in to the wireless charging head and everything is safe, right? And I can show you how to build one of these. Or when ordering all your stuff from Quadlock, you can get this. Simply connects to the battery, plugs into this guy, which is a magical automatic relay. It's got an on-off and auto mode. It'll look at your battery's voltage. It'll look at what it's doing. It can tell when the engine's running and when it's not. It can see when it's been naughty and see when it's been nice. It does it for you. There are a few other accessories they sent me, like this little ring setup here. Gives you a holder, also a stand there, if you will. There's the tripod. You could use that for 150 things. And even a small little wallet to go on the back. You don't actually need to like lock it in. It's just, this has got a magnet on it, so it just holds. And by the way, yeah, that's the thing. With this having a magnet, you can do this kind of stuff with it and it'll stay. Let's get this thing set up, whether you've ordered it with the ram mount ball or whatever setup, if you're trying to do a different mount. What you need to actually do, first of all, is remove this. And in our case, we will set this completely to the side. We won't be using this, nor do I believe we'll be using that screw. We'll keep those together. We need to first attach the ram mount ball to the vibration dampener. Screw down in the middle of it. The Allen will fit through there. Put the vibration dampener onto the ram mount ball, tighten that down. Using that long screw, we're gonna attach the vibration dampener onto here. You'll notice there is a USB thing on the bottom here, so you do need to make sure you're indexing that, not like over top of this. Just get it between the two. We've built this part. Right now what I wanna do is actually set this up on the bike, figure out where I'm gonna put it. That gives me an idea of where I'm gonna run the cables. You notice here, I got a ram mount ball right here. I got one over here. I got them in various random places on this bike. So many different ways you can put a ram mount on a motorcycle. I'm trying to think where I'd like the phone to be. I'm thinking maybe over here. Not interfering with the dash. The brake line coming up won't hit it. I'm going along. Look at that. Woo! I go along. I got my clutch in hand. I can touch the phone if I need to without losing the throttle. Not that you should do that while you're riding. Don't do that. Everyone is now upset with you, okay? Don't do that. You can also get these little arms here. You can get ones that just have a bolt in them if you want it to be a little more, secure. So if we're happy with that, let's wire up the charger. So that means I need to access my battery on my bike. That's right behind here. And the first thing I need to do is remove my seat. Then I'm gonna remove this side panel. My battery's here, but I'm also gonna go ahead and remove this side panel because this is gonna be the direction I'm gonna run the cable. Now that we have everything exposed, let's actually go back up to the other end and start working the wiring towards the battery. They give you 3 USB-Cs which plug into the back of the charge head. Got like a little waterproof cover thing on there. Do you see that? This plugs in right over here. Again, it's got that nice rubber seal on it. We'll most likely zip tie this to the ram mount arm. If we just were to clamp it normal with no real slack in it, well, watch this. When this thing moves around, that might restrict it. It could even pull it out. It could wear that USB port out over time. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna give it a little bit of slack, because watch this. If I give it a little hump in here, now it seems unaffected by all that movement. They gave us a whole ton of zip ties. And what I like to do, sharp razor blade, and then cut the excess off absolutely flush with the zip tie head. I can take my finger and run it across here, and there's no chance I'm going to nick myself on anything. The best thing to do, in my opinion, then, is to follow other existing cables that go down into the wiring harness. Going down this way, grab it from the other side and pull it. Just an extra good measure here. I'm going to zip tie it to this existing cable coming down just to help keep it going in the way I want. I'm going to use a fairly small zip tie for that. Kit did not provide any of the zip ties this little. Then from here, you can see the cables coming down, and it's just right here next to this other bundle of cables, which goes back into the wiring harness. So I can easily just follow that. And this stack is getting to the point. I think this is a couple different, I'm running a couple things on here. I am starting to consider whether I need to put this in a some sheathing. I do have a little bit of this sheathing material right here. This is there's always good stuff right here. Never used this stuff before. It's just plastic. It's got a split piece on here. I'm also going to go ahead and take my USB cable and draw it back in the direction of the rest of this wiring harness. Should be a good little length of it right there. I always like to put the biggest cable in these first. Once you get that in, it seems like the other ones are pretty easy to kind of floss them down in there. Once you start getting it all in, kind of twist it. I'm going to put the seam part aiming down so that any moisture does get in there, and it will. This isn't meant to protect it from that. I'm off a little extra of that. I don't need all that. Isn't that nicer looking? Turns good. Everything's happy. It's not binding up. That's always nice to see. And that's the thing you're going to have to look at if you're putting the wiring down a piece of the bike where it's going to have to turn. Just follow the other existing wires. There's already going to be a good system there. From here, we have this length of cable, which is long enough to go all the way to the battery. We just plug it in, right? We also have all this and all of this wiring harness. We're going to have a little bit of extra wiring. We're going to bundle it all up and zip tie it somewhere. There's actually a great space on my bike right in this area. I could have gone with the shorter cable, but it kind of landed me probably a pinch short. Of course, that's how it would go. So you had to go with the long one. With this bike, I don't need to remove the battery to get access to the terminals. One thing you may notice, you'll see some extra cables going to the back of this battery. This battery has two sets of terminals. This is an anti-gravity battery because I am running a couple other random accessories. You can see some already inline fuses in here. If I wanted, I could go right off of these, but I think I may want to access those rear ones. But of course, you don't have to. This part, pretty self-explanatory. Red goes to red and black goes to black. We've got this cable coming out. It's definitely getting a little busy in there, right? Let's follow it along the existing wiring harness. And I love it because of this wiring harness. A lot of bikes are built like this. We've got these zip ties running along them. We can undo, we can add things to. If your bike doesn't come with these are easy enough to get. And the factory wiring harness is always a good bet if you're following some wiring. We've made it up to this corner of the bike. Cable coming from our battery or USB. Nope. Luckily, this is a good little open space here because I now need to put all of this in there. This USB will plug this into our male to female in. My buddy told me one time, he goes, you know, whenever you plug one of these in, he goes, is it the wrong way, then the right way? I think I'm gonna put a little bit of tape around this. Stretch some electrical tape over that. Someone's gonna say, Jake, you shouldn't stretch electrical tape. Shut up. The other guy's gonna go right here. Oh, that's cool. There goes my phone just started charging. So you have on and off, and auto's the low setting on here. Auto's gonna be basically where you're gonna keep it all the time. Good little chunk of cable here. Luckily, again, we have the room for it on this bike, but you may want to use this tighter cables. I could also show you how to shorten some of these other cables on here. It's not impossible, but for simplicity right now, let's just show you how to do this like a caveman so that you can get it done. Small zip ties, I'm going to secure it to another cable. Go, those are all nicely together. It all seems happy. Let's cut the excess off. I say I'm going to come in here later and shorten these cables, but am I really... Am I gonna actually remember to go do that? You can see we are charging. You see the little indicator on there. Pull it off. Should turn off. Yep. We have a little blue light on here that will go off if the battery gets low enough. Put it back on. That's good. Oh, we should tighten that up a little bit more. There she is. Cable's got plenty of slack there. Everything is happy. Do you work here?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. We have our phone on our handlebars, and life is good. This doesn't even feel like I can't distinguish vibrations coming through this. One of the things that's really helpful, this is something that may not be applicable to everybody. I do this thing I gotta take pictures sometimes. And look how fast and quick I can do this. Woo! Everyone's always down here doing the photos. That's get done, pop it back on. It's charging, life is good. Look at that bang we had there. Happy. It's fine. Now, there is one other questionable thing I do have with the charging part of this. I looked up the smart relay. It's something like it turns on at like 13.5 volts. That's pretty good. That means that's definitely like engine running kind of voltage. And then it will shut off at 12.5 volts. Generally speaking, good indication whether the bike's running or not. Nothing wrong with those parameters, except for I have an anti-gravity battery, which is a lithium battery. Those batteries do have a shut-off feature that will shut it off while there's still enough voltage in it. You can still start the bike up. It's a good feature, and I don't know for sure what the voltage is for the shut-off. I think it's lower than 12.5 volts. I think you should be fine, but there is the potential that this charger could pull the battery down just sitting in the garage if it sits for long enough. Do you have one of these? Do you like it? Is it any good? What do you think? And in general, what do you guys think about me doing a video like this? I've tried to leave opinions out of it, just show the product on its own to demonstrate, and I think it's a product that is relevant to what we do. Obviously, we want to do sponsored videos from time to time. They are a good thing to do. What makes this possible? Honestly, let me know what you think. Thank you, Quadlock, for setting us up with the products for this video and being the sponsor. Be sure to check the link in the description to get a discount on all this good jazz. We'll see you next video. Goodbye now. Goodbye. I hope this is funny. Please like the video.